Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my new internet show I'll be working on. I've kind of hinted in the past, anyone who's been following. In fact, I launched it over a year ago. Said, hey, I'm going to launch up Glitch TV, which has now become Glitch 2600. Domain names, all that fun stuff. If you watched that video back then, you'll see that I'm going to be talking about geekery and all sorts of other fun things when it comes to internet, photography, computers, anything you want to ask, feel free to post through. But this one specifically is my Glitches Happy Hour, as I'm Glitch. So this is where you can still Q&A any of those fun geek questions, but being that I'm a Iowa beer geek, and more specifically also love wines from around the world and beer from around the world. So with this is my time to kind of geek out about those beers. Like I said, I'm still a geek in general, so you can ask any questions. Get in on any part of it. Love to hear the questions, suggestions, anything you want for the other part of the show. There is a Facebook page for Glitch 2600. There is also a YouTube channel that we'll start posting there. This will be, after it's done, recorded and posted there. And then in the future, at one point, we'll be posting to Glitch 2600 and just putting a link on my personal page for the friends who want to see it. But for now, just to get a little bit of feedback and to test out this setup, as I've been doing, I am now just going to post it here, and hopefully everyone likes it. So tonight, one of the things I'm going to do for it, or one of the beers I'm going to drink, is Confluence Des Moines IPA. So I am a huge fan of beer styles. In fact, let's just zoom in and show that a little bit more. Command raw beer styles. Also a big fan of wine styles. They kind of run hand in hand, I suspect. So this is a Crowler, the Des Moines IPA. Got it with their backyard grilling kit they had this last week, which the cookies, I'm not kidding, that big. The burgers were great, all of that. But we're going to go with Confluences here. You should probably find Confluences. Des Moines IPA. Little sneak peek on everything we're going to be having. But I'm going to pour that one out. Pour one out for my homies. There we go. Again, any questions? We're going to give this a little sample. You can kind of see the color there. Nice and clear, but not too clear. It's not a hazy. It's not a New England IPA. But yes, good. Sunday fun day. I like the way you think. So I'm going to post that. I'm going to have to fix how that thing shows up. We'll fix that later. Fix that on another screen. So obviously I can post up you guys as you chat on there. Hopefully in the future I'll do some pinball and it's on there too, and bring in my pinball friends. Like hopefully at some point I can bring in Cody and them and promote our Des Moines pinball teams and all that, which once we're not socially distant, that's something to come check out. Definitely a big fan of the operating room too. So you'll hear me talk a lot about operating room, wine styles, and beer styles. Those are my three places I like to support. I also, the Flying Moose, fourth one. But where I go and buy my beer and wine is normally from Wine Styles and Beer Styles, where I go to Patron on top of those two places, which I love, because I just go next door from the Wine Styles in West Glen over to the OR, which also exists up in Ankeny. Love everything Dr. Yanish does and all that for it to keep that up and going and promoting the pinball lifestyle. So, again, Des Moines IPA. Looking at that on Untapped, I know what I've ranked it before, but we'll just bring this through. At some point, I will connect my screen. I'm just being lazy trying this out for myself. But it looks like the average rating for most people, 3.78. I've rated a 3.75. It is one of my upper IPAs. It's not the top IPA, top of my scale. We'll get to those at some other time. But it's definitely up there. I don't rank everything as a 4. I like a lot of beer, so it's hard to just say that's not. But looks like my friends actually really like it. They're 4.25. But for me, 3.75. Most people say it's got kind of a hoppy, smooth, floral, sweet. I don't know if I get the sweet. I mean, you can get a little bit of that on the end. But it's smooth. I definitely get that. As we talk about hops. But from an IPA point of view, you'll hear IBU, which is the International Bitter Unit. If I remember right, remember Imperial, International. People say different ones. But it's supposedly how bitter it is, which is crazy when you look at something like a New England IPA, which is a hazy beer, or you'll hear hazies. That's a big craze. Because of it not being filtered and how it does it, it has normally a higher IBU, so it's supposed to be more bitter, but it's not. So I encourage any of you that generally don't like, those bitter beers, say, I don't like IPAs. I hear that all the time. I just don't like IPAs. Well, in that case, maybe give a hazy a try. There's a reason why it's so popular amongst people right now, because a lot of beer drinkers that normally weren't in the craft beer units or craft beer circles went, oh, hey, this one's not so bitter. This one is a little bit, not necessarily, I wouldn't say fruity, but it has that more aroma and different flavors to it. So definitely promote that if you're going to try it. But from an IPA, this is a nice entry one too. I don't think I don't have the IBUs on it, but it's not as bitter as some of the other IPAs out there. I'm a big fan of like session IPAs like Peachtree Soundcheck. One of my favorites is not just because the pull handle has the cool microphone pull down, but it for some reason that was one of my earlier ones I got into and have always loved. Now the other part is some of you are going to go, and I hear it all the time whenever I'm working the craft beer tent for the fair, because you can always find me there on the high-end 20 taps, because there's 48 taps and there's 20 taps, and 20 taps where you get kind of those lesser-known beers or small batch. All craft is a level of small batch, but even smaller, harder to find. And everyone comes over and, of course, I hear I'm a Busch Light drinker, what should I get? I say start somewhere with their yellow, something small and light, and work your way. But with it, when I started, you kind of think, oh, hey, I haven't been, I can't jump in with these people. I can't go here. I've only been doing craft beer for a short amount of time in the grand scheme of many other people. So while I talk about things I like and IBUs and different things I've tried, I've actually only been for so long. It was actually a trip when I worked for another company, for a media company. We acquired one out in Seattle, so I flew out there as part of the IT team to incorporate them and get them onto our network. And we all decided to go out, and there's this place called The Longest Yard. And we walk in, and I hadn't drank a whole lot of other craft beers at all. So they say, it's one of the traditions, we take them out to kind of butter them up before we have to put a bunch of rules on them and different things they don't want to know for the local IT staff. But I'm not kidding you. I walk in there. They go, what do you want to drink? And I go, hey, what do you guys have? Bud Light Lime? And I swear it was one of those record stop, screech across, and everyone stops. And the server there goes, yeah, we don't have that here. And so to kind of save face, I'm the type that's up really late, all that. So everyone went home, around 11 o'clock that night. And I walk around the city, not necessarily the safest thing, but I walk around Seattle and come across this place called the Tap House. And I walk down, it's about 2 a.m. 1 a.m. at that point. And the bartender takes pity on me and pours me samples of multiple beers and has me try and take one. My first one, Pyramid. So she taught me lots of different ones on there, and the other bartender there, he taught me a bunch. So I went back a few times and come back to Iowa. And one of the first beers I had when I came back to Iowa was Peachtree's Soundcheck Session IPA. And to kind of jump full in, to go from a Bud Light Lime being any type of beer I would have, to IPAs, It's a big jump and still learning. Okay, what's a stout? What's a porter? What's a hazy nowadays? You know, that's the same as a New England IPA. You know, did I like New England IPAs? You know, what difference does a Citra hop make than a Mosaic hop? Or, you know, all the different recipes and different ways you can make beer. Is it dry hopped? And that's only come a little bit in that time since then. So the moral of that story is, when it comes to beer, wine, anything in life, you're not going to be able to do it until you jump in and do it. So just don't be intimidated by it. You know, many times, especially in IT, our stuff is always changing. They always tell us we have to be, here's the new project that you get today or yesterday. Talk about it today, implement it tomorrow. So you got to be an expert by tomorrow. You can only be an expert by jumping in and doing it. So enough preaching for me on there. Anyone have any questions out in the internet worlds? I mean, I know 4 people are watching, and I pity you guys. But you know, there's anything. Literally, we can talk beer, wine. Right now, I only have beer with me. I have 4 for us to go through today. But we can talk about pretty much anything else you might want to. Like I said, computer questions, photography questions. I owned a portrait studio for many years. I'm a certified professional photographer. There's only about 2% of us worldwide, along with, of course, being a cloud security engineer, an information security manager in the past, and infrastructure guy. Not the best coder anymore. I used to do a ton of code, but I know the right people to ask. And if I don't know it for this show or don't know it for this one, it means I know where to go talk to the right people. Same thing when it comes to beer, wine, pinball. You can ask a pinball question. If it's Cody asking, I'm probably going to go to Cody and ask him back. So that's not going to be, it's very cyclical for that one. But, or Chris or one of the guys there, or I'll have to go around and see if I can find someone in another state that somehow knows more and regurgitate it as my own information. I'll cite proper sources, though, I swear. I really thought about pouring full glasses, but I didn't think anyone want to sit for the first show for that long, as I'm drinking down through most of them. Now, for those happy hours, if I start doing anything like that, or half glasses, we'll only do 2 or 3. I don't want to subject anyone for too much, unless we have a lot of people asking questions, and it continues much like it used to with my old radio show. So we'll get there. Maybe someday we'll have Tech Tuesdays like I used to do, and then everyone can post that through. So while we're on a Confluence kick, might as well go on to the second one. Like I said, we only have 2 Confluence drinks tonight, but this is another that I really like. And so I'm going to pop in on this one. And we're going to zoom in here. Maybe. Unless I can't get my camera to work properly. We're going to go in on this 1122. So, turn off all those ones. We're going to go with the 1122. Go back here and go back to camera 1. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. So, 1122. And while I'm thinking of it, if you didn't know or wanted or didn't know how to find me, go ahead and pop on here. Here is my Untapped link. You can scan that. Or, even better, you can come over here and find me at Untapped at Glitch 2600. Again, that will also be the YouTube and Facebook if you want to find me, where we'll keep this going live strong and good. And I'll get my crap in order for the future. So let's open this one up. Oh, hear that goodness? So this one is a hazy double IPA. And this is where we'll see stuff get a little bit more interesting. So you notice the last one was not quite see-through. Or it was see-through. This one's not quite so much. This is our nice hazy, or New England IPA. So sometimes when you get these beers and they've sat for a long time, or if you get them in a keg, like I have Barntown Neon on a keg here, you will see what'll happen is it'll settle, so you'll pour it out and it's a different color. It'll be pretty clear because all the sediment went to the bottom. That is a personal choice. It will still taste about the same. Some people will say it doesn't. I've had one instance where it kind of did, one instance where it didn't as much, but it still had most of the characteristics, 99.9. All I do is I take the beer slowly in the can and tip it over. It doesn't work as well in a keg. Luckily, once you kind of stir up the keg from the CO2, from pouring some, it normally stirs it back up and keeps that one a little bit more. But the cans, if you get it and it's been setting for a while, just take it slowly, hold it upside down for a little bit, tip it back, then slowly tip it back, and then it'll come back like this. Like I said, we kept some neon for a while and poured it out and was crazily surprised when it was not hazy at all. But let's see here. They have a few other ones. Right now, Confluence is coming out with almost 2 beers a week, which we've been going and getting right before we do the live show at Wine Style. So if you like this type of, or like more entertaining, Matt, Brian, and Sarah at Wine Styles, we put on a live show where I produce that, so I don't have to be both on the camera and producing it at the same time. That instead, I get to just produce with another guy, Dale, there, and a whole team now. That one, very entertaining. People love it. Oh, hi, Mom. I see Mom's in the background. So while I have a chance to fix something, I'm going to post this up on here and go, hey, Mom. And while I can fix this, that's one thing with this piece of software, I can only fix it while it's live on the screen. So we're going to go, hi, Mom, and take this and move that one to this color and be really cool about it and make a cool background. You're not seeing any of this because I'm doing it in the background. Oh, even better if I don't do it that way. And we'll close this. Now we'll set a background to that color. Hit save. We'll post it back up. Hi, Mom. And we will make this also full screen there. That will be way cooler. And everyone will love seeing my mom on the screen. Ta-da! That will make this work better. And we'll go back out from the Zoom. So had anyone seen that earlier with Cody, we would have saw that instead, which looks way cooler now. So we'll keep it like that. Hopefully it saves those settings, so that, considering I do this also with beer styles, and I'm still working with the programmer on this software from time to time and making little suggestions to them. They're doing great. Their stuff is amazing. I'm really glad I found this because it got me off my butt from saying what I was going to do with the show for so long. But yes, this is the batch 1122 from Confluence. So let's take a quick look. Discard that check-in because I've already done it. So this is the 1122, or they've called it the batch 1122 before. But let's just do 1122. Batch 1122, double hazy. And you can't see it. So the average rating on that one is 4.16. I've rated it a 4 in the past. That's where I've liked it. I like it a little bit more than the Des Moines IPA at 3.7. This one, while great, is one of my upper hazies now. In fact, I've been hoarding it to the side. Shared it with my friends at Wine Styles and Beer Styles. And then once I drink this through, I'll be ordering more from them. So like I said, Confluence has been coming out with 2 a week. which I try to go there and patronage them. And then when it's released to Beer Styles that next week, I like to go there and go to Beer Styles and Wine Styles and have them pick up the ones that I liked of it. Since right now, we can't go into the tap house and do a little sample and see if we like it. So I go there, try to do what I can to help their business keep going, and then turn around and do what I can to help the Wine Styles and Beer Styles business keep going. Like I said, great people I like that provide a great service. And with that, it's nice. They get to try it a little bit too. I'm sure they already sampled it anyway, but it's good to share. And then as we're keeping under 10 people in our production, at most 5, 6 in that room, all socially distanced. There was one comment before we joked around where their tables were a little close. That was a camera thing, but they were only within 4 feet of each other, 4 or 5. So I guarantee you they were still socially distanced a lot. And Matt and Brian have to work with each other all the time. They're practically a married couple. So for that one, and Sarah now is in that mix. So, but as I try this one, it is a very good hazy. Like I said, I've been a big fan of Neon for a long time, and I'm on the fence on which one I like more. So in the past, I rated this one, like I said, as a 4.0. I am on the fence on whether I should bump that up. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that to a 4.25. This one came from the can. I can only imagine that on tap, it's even just a little bit better. But most people do the traditional. Anytime you look up a hazy, they're going to say, it's hazy, it's hoppy. It's an IPA, of course it's hoppy. It's juicy, citrusy, citrus. All right, that's pretty much the definitive just quality of any hazy. You're just pretty much going to get citrusy and all that out of it, which is why I say, if you don't know if you like IPAs, a hazy might be the way to go. It's just tastes less bitter. To me, while it still has citrus and all that, I'm going to go a little bit farther. I swear I get a little bit of pineapple, which I am a big pineapple fan. So let's check on their thing. Bright lemon citrus is what they say. Tropical and stone fruits. Well, to me, tropical fruits, can't get any more than that. But they say lemon drop and Amarillo hops, along with mosaic. So some people might get lemon. I'm getting pineapple when you put all those together. So that's just me. Again, a reminder for anyone getting on here, you can come and follow me on the Glitch 2600 page. We'll be doing more of this. We'll be simulcasting eventually to YouTube, and we'll up the production value each time. I'm going to make mistakes on screen, though, because I'd rather go live, do it that way, and be like this and stammer, than pre-record a whole bunch, have to edit and work that way, because, as they say, you only get better as you do it, and if you just keep talking about it, you're not going to do it. So I'd rather just get it out there, do it, keep upping the equipment. You can ask me about the equipment I'm using if you're curious for yourself, if you want to learn how to do it, especially when all this is done. If you're wanting to do this or expand some of your area, I'm more than happy to help. It just gets me more practice. In fact, I've been meaning to talk to Dr. Jonas and them and see if maybe we want to do that there. Who knows? But as we do this, let's keep going. Anyone have any questions? Any comments from the people out in the world? Like I said, eventually I'll just be posting this to the 2600 page and put a link onto our page. I'm going to keep this recording and post it as a recording out there so we can go back through it. You'll be able to look at it. I will take it from public to private. I just have a thing about putting beer stuff publicly, but the only way to be able to see people's comments live is if it's public. So it'll be public and then move to private or friends only. But when it's on the Glitch 2600 page, you'll be able to see it there, share it to friends, and keep it going. So that's where we'll go from there. Like I said, we'll also have that on YouTube. You'll be able to find it there. We'll be expanding some of the Twitter and Periscope postings as we keep going. So what do you guys think of the background? I took the one I was making for Wine Styles added that little bit of a hop-like color. Not fully, it's a green, but it's techie. I'm debating on the non-happy hour version being blue, or because I love green, just leave it green all the time. And that's my new color. Eventually I'll have to develop a little logo and all that, but until then. When it comes to the tech show, Jared will eventually be joining me, or so he goes by Nerdicus. And with that, we'll be covering things, like I said, the Apple Watch, different programs I use for fitness, and different things on there. We'll be talking about, he'll want to talk on gaming. We might show some League of Legends. I'm not that good at it, but he's a really good player. He'll tell you about a support versus a top laner versus a bottom laner versus jungler, and all of that stuff that I'm just learning as I watch it and realize that I miss just playing the regular Nintendo or Sega Genesis and my Sonic the Hedgehog going for rings. But, or I'll just stick with my pinball where I can still school him, or keep doing it, at least in my practice now off. While I'm socially distanced, I'm hopefully getting my practice up, which means when I go to play in tournament, I'm probably not going to be good again, but I'm hoping that that's wrong and I am really good. And I just logged a bunch of time, but I'm sure all the guys have done the same thing, so, all ships will rise and I'll be the same. But, that's fine. But yeah, the first show we'll probably, still debating on it, talking about the Apple Watch, and we'll probably split that into two of different things. What type of Apple Watch? Why you might want to go with the 4 over the 5. Why you might want the 5 over the 4. Why I like the stainless steel over the aluminum and the extra money that you have to spend on there. Don't get me wrong, I like to save. Anyone who knows me knows I like to be cheap when I can. I save containers. I'm the guy who even saves twist ties on cables and re-twist ties them. I can, because I've got that OCD, even though if you saw over there, everything else is a mess. Not because anyone else is messy here, I'm messy. But I know my world, and then all my tech stuff has to be in order. So, with that said, we'll be talking about why I like those things, and why sometimes it's good to spend that money, just like the right tripod for photography. Our first episode could shift to parental controls because a lot of people are home. So we might be talking why you might want to use some screen time for Apple. Hopefully going to go back out. I used to be an Android user a long time ago for tech. So I might go out and pick up an Android tablet to go back and see what Samsung is doing with Knox to help you guys kind of learn a little bit more about that. But why MDMs are great for business, but might not be great for home, because you can't run your own. MDMs are mobile device management. Really great features when you want to track and keep your kids contained for it, or what they can do. I used to like to go in there and at 9-10 o'clock at night, wipe all of the icons off of their desktop. Or if Jared was not calling me back, I would just wipe all the icons off and only allow one contact in his phone that said "Call Dad now," which was a fun little thing to do. You can do that with MDM, but the right MDM. Because the thing you also have with MDM is that you open up a door depending on the company that you're trusting for it. So, that different things, if you're using like Microsoft Intune, you have access to that. If you do. Otherwise, some of the free ones that are out there, or some of the family ones, you just have to be really careful. So why screen time is a good alternative made by Apple for the iTunes or for the iOS devices, but why certain parts of Knox and Samsung kind of always mirrors that. In other pieces, there is some Google capabilities. And sometime maybe we'll talk about YouTube TV, some of the frustrations I've had with that. I'm a cord cutter, so I've gone from Hulu and DirecTV's now and AT&T now, and parts on there. But the first show, I'm still debating on whether there's going to be parental controls and different things for mobile home. Different parts with Zoom, how to increase that, webcams, or whether we're just going to stick with the Apple Watch. You guys can let me know if there's one that you find more interesting. In the past, a year ago, everyone wanted to learn about the Apple Watch, which is why we've talked about that for the first show. But if that has changed because of the times, because everything's changed, just leave a comment. Would love to know what you guys think on it. So, anyone else drinking anything else tonight? I'd love to hear what you guys are. I mean, everyone's in there, so there's quarantinis. Some people are making White Claw slushies. I went and got a whole bunch of those, the new Volume 2. Hey, Brian. We've been talking about, beer styles and wine styles and why they should come there to come get the stuff like the 1122 and Des Moines IPA, which we talked about. And catching the show on our virtual, or you guys' virtual, happy hours, which will be coming up for another pickup party. I never actually talked on that. We love going to Wine Styles and being a member. We're a member of both the beer club and the wine club. And the nice thing, when we first started about wine, we were white. That's just where we just didn't know a whole lot about it. We were still getting into it. Yeah, Brian. For anyone who's curious, next Friday. So when we got into it, that's where we were. There was everyone there was really nice and helped us as we kept going, and really quick became white red, and then red. And what was really cool is they have education classes that they've been able to continue even through the quarantine. And it's a great way to learn and expand your palate. As I learned more about craft beers I liked, I got farther into different wines that I liked, and vice versa. And being in the beer club, what's nice is we're going to talk about this one that I got from the beer club. So I tried to finish at least that one within the month, every beer club one. Unfortunately, I already drank the other one. But it's not always something you would buy yourself, but it expands and shows you maybe you'll like another style like that. Maybe you'll like a sour. This one's going to be a sour. It's not a U.S. sour, but it's really good. But as we continue on past those, that's what we'll be doing. But that's a really great way to learn, is to join those types of clubs and expand from there. They also have a great cheese club. I was never a big cheese, and now if you're ever in there, ask Brian and them. I'm almost always buying a cheese now. Still probably not going to get me on blue cheese. I try it every single time in class, thinking this is going to be the day I like a blue cheese, and maybe someday. But I do try everything else. Ashley there got me stuck on Tellagio for a long time, which they make a really good grilled cheese, I've heard. Right now they have some really good cheeses on that you can grab there. Always been a big fan. If you're not wanting to go very budget, but a really good cheese, the Prairie Breeze, anything from that make of them. You always have been a big cheese. Oh, thanks, Mom. So, like I said, big fan of wine styles and beer styles. Best place to go for it. Like I said, we go and get the newest Confluence and then turn around and get it the next week, the ones we like out there. But they can pretty much track down stuff for you. You just got to go ask. Of course, every state has weird shipping and import rules. So as long as they can get it, they're normally pretty cool about going and getting that. And by normally, I mean, I've never known them not to be. So something to keep in mind. If there's something you're looking for, I always ask. Worst case, they'll tell you why they can't. It might be a rule. I know Spotted Cow or whatever up in Wisconsin, I've never asked them to get it, but I know they have weird things coming in. But if they can, they will. But what's everyone else drinking out there? Anyone? Got people off screen, so finish that one. Again, I'm going to pop up in case you're curious to come find me on Untapped. You can scan that code. Go look for Glitch 2600. If you want to see something else fun that happened today, I'm going to show you the Craft Beer Kids. Found this nice little rock called You Rock. And as we're doing the Bikes and Beers social distance, these are our friends that come and join. You notice that the shirt kind of matches this shirt. Big fan of the Iowa beer. I think Iowa beer is little known in the whole world for it. I mean, You're hearing now about the Asheville, what they have, and they have a ton. You hear Seattle, you hear all of those different ones out that places, but Des Moines or Iowa in general has a lot of brewers that are just doing really cool things with really cool beers and cranking stuff out. Like I said, Confluence ranking out 2 different beers, sometimes 3 in a week, barrel aged. If you ever get a chance to get their 50s dad, Beer Styles had that on tap for a while. We kept buying out the crowlers and wish we could have figured out a way to get a keg of that. It's just amazing. Their Ferryman's Fuel, right now they've got the Ferryman's Fuel Coconut. Go to Wine Styles page, look at the last video for the last virtual tasting. You'll see about it, you'll hear them talk about it. It's very good. I'm not even a big coconut fan, and that one's really good. Any of their Ferryman's Fuel line, Wynn got all of them. Got a nice cool glass when we did it with Confluence, but really good. All right. I'm thinking we should move on to this one. It's the sour I told you that we had from Wine Styles, being in the beer club. Got to open that puppy. And then I'll zoom in to show you the goodness up there. So let's just do a little zoom action called the Leevike. So we'll bring that through. And then I've moved to the wrong beer on there. Darn screens. Amateur. So you can see a little different color. This is a sour. And for the longest time, it took me a while to get into sours. They are really good. It just has to be in the right mood for it. There's one from Confluence called Lassos and Lasers that we'll probably be reviewing here. Well, that not my top one, but they have a wizard that one is extremely good. So if I was to check this one in, the thing is I look up this one, everyone worldwide, I have no friends that have checked this in, which is just crazy. But worldwide, 9,144 check-ins. We have a total score of 3.61. And I would concur. I'm rating it. Like I said, everything is subjective for it. I'm probably going to give it about a 3.5. I wish I could almost do micro ones between 3.5 and 3.75. It's not because it's not good. I'm just not a big sour. But of the sours I've had, it's pretty good. So for me to give it a 3.5 as a sour is pretty good. Someone else who likes sours would be more likely to probably rate that at a 4. But that's one of the nice things. Why? Even when you read reviews, just kind of think on what you think on there. But other people said sour, cinnamon, smooth, sweet, refreshing. You can see outside, refreshing. I think a sour, I love stouts by the fire, porters by the fire. Sours are one of those ones that actually I kind of like with that smoky, mesquite coming in from the fire. So this one definitely has the cinnamon. A little bit of sweet. Refreshing would have to be outside and see. To me, it's more of a smooth drinking sour. So let's see here. I mean, definitely cinnamon. It's almost like not quite apple cinnamon, but that's what I get from it. And it's that cinnamon spice. Really good. In fact, I'm gonna be nice. Live on air, I'm gonna move them to a 3.75. The more I drink it, the more I like it. So, purchase location, got to get that on there. Wine Styles. Beer Club for the win. Like I said, reminder, if you want more, because eventually I don't want to spam all my friends. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Not everything will be like the show. This is purely the happy hour. If you like it, come see us on the Glitch 2600 page. We'll keep posting there in the future. I'll always post a little link here to let people know that it was up there, but if you want to catch it live, we'll probably still keep doing a few of these here and then post the recorded up there. But I get the best interaction, the best when we start posting there. It's a marketing thing if I'm going to keep doing this. Because eventually I would like to grow this where we can bring on, brewers, different brewers from around, go visit a few, maybe do some live there, or just some pre-recorded and then do it live to kind of let you see a little bit of the background. It's very cool to see how different breweries make things different, from Exile to Confluence. The way that they even just do their bottle in the finishing can be almost drastically different. It's the same product, just the same way, but just the different ways for beer and why certain times they gotta skip a step because that's different for this type of beer and would ruin how it works. I mean, do you inject CO2 or do you not? Does it already have its own? Which is very cool to see. Nice thing about Confluence, they distribute for other breweries just based on how they are and their classification, different classifications, different rules, because like I said, every state has different rules when it comes to beer, wine, alcohols in general. Some of them don't make sense, just like other ones. Some of them make perfect sense. Talk to your lawmaker and change it if it doesn't. But with that, they, with their classification, can distribute for other breweries. So it's really neat. You kind of go into their section, you see different ones around town. So it's really neat to see them supporting each other and helping that to help keep the cost down, to help brewing continue there. Exile, works with a different distributor, I believe. But even right now with their stuff, they're doing curbside delivery. But if you like certain types of Exile too, maybe you don't want a whole case. That's sometimes the case for me. Go to Beer Styles and get a crowler. Get a nice 32-ounce crowler. They can also do their other drinks, like their different cocktails, mules, all that. But different beers. We've gone, watch when you get the crowlers. You can get 16-ounce crowlers, sometimes really good price. So check when you see it, when you see the $5 ones. Not that it's bad. If you want to sample and try something different, the small crowler's great. But for not much more, if you went to Beer Styles, the cool thing, you get their take and bake pizza, which Jake is an amazing pizziola, for their pizza DiGiorno. And every Thursday they have a different style of pizza. You can get traditional pizzas, the take and bakes. You can get your pepperoni, your different New York styles, and all sorts of different ones. You can get non-take and bake. They can just make them. You don't have to do the take and bake. But each week they have their pizza DiGiorno. Sometimes something I would never think to put on a pizza, and it just somehow works. Because he's that way. They had a dessert pizza that was Nutella on it, and it was just amazing. And even the last one, which I'm pulling a blank on what's in there, but it was good. Everything's good. But if you go there, get something like the pizza DiGiorno or the backyard kit, anything like that, you spend a certain, it doesn't take much to do it. You get their crowlers at half price. You get a 32-ounce, which if you went to other places, let's say, you went to one of the other places in town that has a $5 16-ounce crowler, but then you go to Beer Styles and get a $10 32-ounce crowler. Let's do our math. 16 times 2 is 32. 5 times 2 is 10. It's the same, just in a nicer, bigger crowler. And how many ounces are in a pint? Well, if we were doing a pint glass, we're normally doing a 16-ounce pour. Do you want one beer or two beers, or are you sharing? So, go get the 32-ounce one when you can. Nothing against the 16 if you're going to try something new, crazy, and you don't know. By all means. But really, at $10, trying something new, most of those will come in there or below. It's really nice. And like I said, this is check out the size of this thing. And it's a cool label on it. It's pretty. So I'm gonna keep going with that one. So, anyone have any other questions on there? I'm half talking to myself, which is normal. I get that anyway. You guys like the happy hour? Do you want more happy hours? Or do I just drink and post myself all the time online? I swear other times we'll do this earlier. The day kind of got away. So that's what happened. So let's move on to our last and final beer. This, as we go through, is by Lionbridge, the Old 17. And we'll come in here. Old 17. Irish style stout. I have never had this at all. Oh, you think it is? It's just because you get to have the stuff after? I was wondering. So, the Old 17. Smells good. But let's see here. And look at that nice stout darkness. Let's look that up and just see. Because like I said, I've never tried this one. So we'll try Old 17. Curious to see how I rank it compared to other people. They have it on there as Old number 17. That works. I've had one friend who ranked it at 3.75. Other people have ranked it globally at 1,679, a little less than our 9,000 friends of the last one. Lionbridge is out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. You go there, you can also find, in that area, some other really great breweries. Love Back Pocket. If you go to Dubuque, you can go to their Back Pocket arcade. Lots of pinball there, lots of others. Not the cheapest arcade I've gone to. You know, they do have a fair amount of pinballs that are pretty cool. I won't say it's the cheapest one. The skee ball and stuff was good, but went through a lot of quarters. They have quarter machines. It is a very cool layout, though. Driving that many hours, a little bit of a stint, but like I said, really cool layout, really cool place to go. Originally, I had forgot that their main one was in the Cedar Rapids area, so I was hoping to see a little bit more, but it's definitely one of those places where I'd like to go back and visit. Seven Hills is right by there in Dubuque, so if you're going in that area, you can literally go around the corner, and they have a really cool layout that we got to see on the socially distanced virtual beer fest, which it used to be the Iowa Craft Beer Fest. Now it's the Iowa Cyber Brew Fest. Will be coming up now, so it's transitioned to that to support those local breweries or those Iowa breweries that can get in there. But Seven Hills is there. Like I said, in Cedar Rapids, there's a lot of really good ones. There's some really good fests, but big fan of Back Pocket. In fact, I almost wore my Back Pocket shirt today, but for the show, I wanted to showcase my Iowa beer pride. Well, let's see. That's a pretty good stout. Irish dry. I don't know that I've tried an Irish style. Well, Guinness, but Irish style stout. Other people say roasty, dry, coffee smooth, dark. I definitely get that coffee ground. I wouldn't. From the dry, it's not as dry as I've had in others. and maybe I'm just banking off the fact I've had dry wines, but it's not as dry as what I've seen in certain other types of beers or wines in that general. But that is really good. This is one that I just learned to do a half and half. So what you do is you essentially pour a light beer and then you put a dark beer over, I believe, and they settle across each other. I got to go look up again which way it was. If I might have that reversed, and you put a dark beer and then a light beer poured over it. Pretty sure it's the light beer with the dark one over, and it just kind of settles. Makes what's called a half and half, and that one's pretty good. Not nearly as good as the car bomb type one, which we don't like when you say Irish car bomb, especially since I am Irish. I should probably be more cognizant of it. But those are good. You just have to drink them fast. No one likes coagulated Irish cream. But it does change it. This one would be a very good one to do that with. Much like the left-hand milk stout is one that's on the list to try that with also. But this might, I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble and lose all of my Irish heritage. But I'm not always the biggest Guinness fan, unless it's my birthday and it's St. Patrick's Day. Otherwise, this may replace Guinness for me on which one I like better. That's good. So, if you're looking for a really good Irish stout, I would go with the Olde 17. For me, the average rating might be in the 3.7, 3.8. I am going to give this one a 4. Got it out of the can. It would probably be really good on tap. And I'm going to check that one in. I know it got late. Hopefully in the future, we'll do this a little bit earlier. I plan to do 2 today. Ran out of time, so I will do 1 this week. If there is a time or day that does better for you, I am starting a new job tomorrow, so I shouldn't probably be up this or too late, although I am a night owl. You'll always find me super late. Maybe there'll be a late night, super late night show for anyone else who's interested. But otherwise, if there is a time, day that works better for you this week, for those of you that want to join, I'll probably do this on the friends page again first. Let me know. I'm happy to try to oblige. My only time I'm not available, really not available, is Wednesday, helping out with some stuff and some stuff on Friday. But if there's a time, day, even on Friday, depending on what time, maybe I can oblige and catch more people. In the meantime, again, I'm going to post up the craft beer kids. Or shouldn't call them the craft beer kids. They are of age, I guarantee you, even though they were only bought so many months ago. I'm pretty sure they were full grown and are allowed to drink that Extinction Event New England IPA. Really good beer. Love the artwork. But again, come find me on Untapped under Glitch 2600. But more specifically, go on Facebook. Look for Glitch 2600. You'll find us there. Eventually, we'll have most likely glitch2600.com, but it is not there yet, so don't go there. And then on YouTube, you can find Glitch2600, where we'll post this up. And if you guys would rather post there in the future, we can do that. Facebook, YouTube. Eventually, I'll probably just simulcast it both once I use, settings with this, program. But if there's something you'd like different, questions, like I said, it won't always be about beer, wine, and all that fun stuff. Sometimes the show will be tech-based, and you'll see Jared here. So if you have questions on there during happy hour, you can pretty much bring up questions on any area you would like, and I will be happy to answer them or find someone who knows the answer. But again, we'll bring that up one more time, that you can find me at, so I pop it up there, at 2600. This will be Glitch's Happy Hour. I'll let you guys go. Have a good night.